Okay, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Two Americans Watching Footy. Christopher last night actually got to watch some soccer in person. As he went down to MetLife Stadium last night to watch Liverpool take on Manchester City in New Jersey. So first, Chris, talk about the match. How'd the match go?
Well, I'll start with everything that wasn't football. So, in the United States, we don't have stadiums dedicated to football or dedicated to sports. So 3 days prior to this matchup, Taylor Swift put on a show at MetLife Stadium, and if you guys saw the match, that turf or the pitch was torn up. It was awful. You could see a pattern to where everything was set up because the grounds crew or the setup crew didn't do a proper job of actually caring about the grass, considering they had a soccer match 3 days later. So that was awful. It was raining.
So the pitch quality sucked?
The pitch quality was atrocious.
And it was raining.
It was raining, which is expected.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're playing a soccer game, so it's going to rain.
Yeah, especially if you're English.
Yeah.
You expect rain.
How was the experience for you as a fan, though?
It was fun. I feel like there was a lot of fair weather fans. There wasn't a lot of diehard fans. And
fair weather, and the weather was bad. So.
Fair weather as in come around when they're good, not necessarily fair weather as in show up when the weather is bad.
How could you tell?
Because 90% of the jerseys that had numbers on them were number 10.
Were Standard Charter number 10?
Yeah.
There weren't a whole lot of Carlsberg number 8s?
Nope.
Okay.
There was a fair amount of custom jerseys too.
That said, though, Standard Charter number 10 did score a goal almost immediately after.
Yes, he got subbed on in, I believe, the 59th or 60th.
We're talking about Mo Salah for those who missed the game last night.
He came on in the 59th or 60th minute, I forget which, and he came on. Sadio Mane had come on at halftime, but Salah had come on, and in 52 seconds he had scored a goal.
So I saw the replay of the goal.
His foot was offside.
He looked offsides.
His foot was offside.
How did it look from the stadium?
It didn't. It looked like a regular play. It looked like he was in line with everybody else.
Well, where were you in the stadium?
I was pretty high up, but towards the front of the pretty high up.
So center pitch?
No. We were. If you're looking at the pitch from the side all the way to the left, so we were.
Okay, so describe where you were. Imagine I'm sitting.
It's easier to describe
where the cameras are.
To the left of the cameras.
To the left of the cameras, and pretty high up.
Pretty high up, because most of those cameras are pretty high up.
I mean, how about the seats? The
seats were
pretty
fine.
Packed?
The seats, the bottom row is packed, and again, I think that also had to do with the other end of the fair weather fans of they're not showing up when it's crappy weather. It's been raining pretty hard here all week, and frankly, to go see a match that's a friendly, people don't want to go see it if it's not going to be nice out.
Well, I mean, it is a totally meaningless game, but in fairness, it's also the only thing we're going to get here in the United States to ever really see these teams without spending a bloody fortune getting on a plane and going to England.
Another thing is with Liverpool emptying the bank this offseason. Well, not necessarily emptying the bank, but actually spending money this offseason. It's nice to see some of the new pickups. I got to see Fabinho for an entire half.
Cool.
And he played very well. He played.
Shaqiri play?
Shaqiri didn't come.
Okay.
He's not in the United States.
Okay.
And Fabinho played very well. He kind of sat in front of, basically right in front of Van Dijk and either Klavan or
Matip.
No, Matip didn't play that first half. And
Virgil van Dijk, Robertson.
Virgil van Dijk and Robertson both played, but for whatever reason they put Virgil on the opposite side of Robertson, so he was on the right. He played very well on the left, and he got torched, and I mean torched by Mane or Sane.
I mean, Sane
is one of the fastest guys on the planet.
Right. Sane has been kind of an Achilles heel.
Right,
but
if you don't have,
despite the fact that Liverpool has now beaten Manchester City.
Technically, 4 times this calendar year.
Well, all right. 4 for 5, right? No, 4 for 4 because the time
4
that they
for
lost
4. was last calendar year.
Yeah,
and that was an embarrassment.
Yeah. So Salah scored. You said he looked offsides.
He looked off from where I was in the stands. We couldn't tell. It was just we were cheering. It was loud.
How did his play look?
His play was fantastic. The first 3 touches he got were shots.
Great.
And 2 of them on goal, and one of them was a pretty good save by Joe Hart.
And then Mane scored the second goal.
Mane scored a second goal in extra time.
Talk about that. Did he get fouled?
No, he didn't get fouled.
Well, what caused the penalty? So we're not going to see video of this because the EPL doesn't have their act together and doesn't have video available to the common person. So
I believe Salah got open on the right side down the pitch, and he went to the corner and set up a cross to Solanke, who got the ball on the opposite side but towards the top of the box, and he got basically clotheslined. So it was a pretty hard foul. It was a very obvious penalty. And Mane did not play very well.
Okay.
He had a very brilliant cross from Salah right at the corner of the goal box, and he just biffed it.
All right.
He just straight up biffed it. He could have done it. Could have done better. He got a heavy touch on the first touch, and it basically rolled out of bounds, and he hit the side netting.
So his run of play was actually not that impressive last night then?
No, Sadio Mane was not impressive. He was all right.
So what have you thought, generally speaking, of the off-season moves based on what you saw in that game? Was City playing their full line?
No, they had nobody.
You said they were playing Sane.
Sane was their only guy. It was him and then the guy they just picked up.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't follow
Manchester City. This is something I really should know. He's the right he's a right attacking midfielder. I feel bad about this. I don't remember his name, but he played pretty well. Foden played very well for Manchester City. He was actually their star the first half. Again, if you guys don't watch preseason, it's half and half, and they have entirely new rosters for each half.
So the experience was a good time?
Experience was a very good time. I'm disappointed that okay, first off, I want to put it out there, 90% Liverpool fans. City fans don't travel well in this country.
Even though Manchester City's owners are the same owners that own New York City FC.
Yes. Yes, which also play not very far away from MetLife.
So you said it was in the rain, but I'm assuming it was a warm night, though.
It was very warm. It probably was like 80, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So
you were just rain jacket and comfortable?
I didn't even bring a rain jacket. I wore my jersey. It's sweat wicking. I was comfortable, and I wore I think this exact pair of pants.
Who'd you go down with?
I went down with one of my old work buddies and his high school or college roommate.
So it was 3 of you?
3 of us, yeah.
And you just drove down?
We just drove down. Now, keep in mind, when we're talking about driving, this was a 3-hour drive each way. So these stadiums in the United States are much more sparse and spread out versus they are in England or the rest of Europe.
Yeah, where a 3-hour drive could we don't know England that well, but a 3-hour drive probably gets you from one stadium in one city to another entirely separate stadium.
Right. I mean, this isn't like, Everton and Liverpool where it's a 30-minute walk.
Yeah, it's 6 blocks away from each other.
You're right. No, in the United States, we do actually have to travel. As fans, we have to travel further distance to watch professional sports. We do have amateur sports, which are much closer, but much lesser competition.
So, did you have any drink?
Yeah, I had 2 beers, which cost a total of $23.
Yeah, welcome to the United States.
Yeah.
Buying beer at the stadium is fun, but it breaks the bank for sure.
Yeah, it was like the first one I saw. I went to the first bar I went to because I wanted some snacks too. So I picked up an $11 Bud Light, and then later on I saw that they were serving Stella the same amount for $12. So I said, screw it, I'm going to go with Stella because that's a good beer versus Swell.
Did you order anything at the stadium?
Yeah, I had some nuggets and fries. It was meh.
Regular stadium food here in the States?
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets and French fries?
Or chips.
Yeah, potato chips, which we call potato chips, what you guys call
crisps. Yes.
Yeah, so good times had by all, though, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, because there wasn't so many diehard fans, it was a very calm, relaxed environment. Again, a little disappointed that there weren't as many people belting out "You Never Walk Alone." I was hoping for a little bit more participation and a more...
Because they don't know the lyrics.
Yeah.
American fans don't know the lyrics to "You'll Never Walk Alone." That's too bad.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of embarrassing to say as a Liverpool fan that my fellow American fans of Liverpool don't know the lyrics that "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Granted, I mean, how many of them have gone to the stadium? How many have seen games? And they don't show it on TV here. So I don't know.
Yeah, you get one channel where there's a chance that you get the game. It's pretty good. It's usually a pretty good chance that you get the game. But
but
you don't always
everything's
get
muted
it.
out. Sometimes we can't even hear the chants properly. So, like, for instance, if there's a new player, new acquisition, say for instance last year the Mo Salah, they have an entire chant for him. We can't hear what they're saying. It's just muffled sound until you get to Mo Salah, Salah.
Well, that's true. That, and even if we were at the stadium, you're talking about that Liverpudlian accent that's just totally indistinguishable.
Right, but they at least like pre-game will talk about it, and you can have other fans there that will tell you what's going on if you're.
That's true, because typically the way a game works in England is you go to the pub first,
Yeah,
and then you order some disgusting English food.
because there's no such thing as love your soccer, hate your food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If we could have our soccer and our food, the country we'd be moving to is Italy. Or Germany, for that matter. Germany and Italy, you guys know how to cook and play soccer. England, you know how to play soccer, but man, you cannot cook.
No.
So the ride back, what time do you wind up? What time was
It took
kickoff?
us- Kickoff was 8:00.
8 o'clock Eastern. And what time? The game was over by what? 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we didn't leave the stadium. We weren't able to leave the stadium until 11.
But you got to your car by
10:15.
10:15.
The walkout is fine. It was just 45 minutes to an hour of
Sitting in the parking lot.
sitting in the parking lot with the incompetent MetLife staff,
And there's
not knowing how to direct traffic.
Yeah, and what the rest of the world may not realize too is that 3 hour drive. The reason we do that is because there's genuinely no way to get down there through mass transit. I mean, unless you're willing to walk, for hours, and I genuinely mean hours on unsidewalked roads. So unfortunately, that 3 hour drive is just what it takes to see the games. And I honestly would have gone myself too, because Christopher had a ticket left over for me, but something came up, and unfortunately, I got to miss my one really good opportunity to see Liverpool here in the United States,
Yeah.
even if it was for a meaningless game.
I will also say the funniest part of the whole night was when Joe Hart got the ball. Every single time the stadium booed really hard.
Why were they booing Joe Hart?
I don't really know.
I mean, I've never really, as a Liverpool fan, even though he plays for City, I've never really had it out for Joe Hart. He, to me, is just another.
I just thought it was
He's
hilarious
the goalkeeper for Manchester City. He's not.
he's third place keeper. Like who?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's a good idea of what it was like. Now you said, what time did you wind up getting back?
Since it was a 2-hour drive on the way back, and then we had to switch cars, and I had to drive another hour. I didn't get home until about 2:30.
What time did you wind up leaving here?
2:30 in the afternoon.
So 12-hour round trip.
12-hour event, basically.
To basically go see a game for 2 hours and then turn around and come home.
Right.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like it was a fun time.
It was. I wish.
Thank God they won.
Yeah, I wish City had more representation from their starters because they didn't really have much.
No
anyone.
Aguero, I'm assuming.
No, if you think about their starting lineup, all of those players were at least in the elimination stage.
No De Bruyne.
They're all in the elimination stage of the World Cup, and then they have to have some time off in between. They got to have some kind of off season.
Well, I mean, they do and they don't. Yeah, I understand why they would want to take the time off. Of course, they want to rest their legs for the part of the season that actually pays them.
Right.
All right. So, anyways, that was our experience. Well, our experience. That was Christopher's experience. That was an American experience watching English football here in the United States. That was two Americans watching footy. Signing off.